monster drew a bow from behind his groove, with a long, sharp blade attached to the back of it.
All his life he lived in an ordinary old apartment building on the outskirts of the city. These sad walls greeted him every evening and saw him off every morning. He had considered them his home, considered them a reliable fortress since his childhood. Everyone I knew had either moved out or died. I was on my own, only my cat lived with me. Every night someone played the piano in the apartment upstairs. It plays well, but it's loud. What does it play? Requiems. Not even a brave man would find it very pleasant in the middle of the night. But Louis isn't a shy man. After a month or two, I couldn't help myself, so I took a flashlight, put on a robe given by my mother for my 25th birthday, and headed for the hapless neighbor to explain to him that Louis doesn't like this wonderful nighttime concert and that it's time to stop. He walked up the decrepit stairs in the darkness with a flashlight in his hand to funeral music, not a pleasant thing to do. But he drove the instinctive fear out of his head and finally banged on the door with his fist at full swing. There was not the least bit of civility in this blow, as he wanted to hint at a possible threat to the musician. No one answered. Louis thumped again. Nothing. At this point I thought, he must be afraid. He usually went back to his apartment full of pride. But now he came to face his abuser. He had not seen him once. He must have been playing the piano at night and sleeping during the day. What a beast! This time, Louis decided not to feel sorry for him. He pushed on the doorknob, and it gave way easily. He was, of course, surprised to say the least. He shouted loudly to break the silence. "Hey, you! Answer me! I know you're in here. Your tunes are good, but it's not the right time. Stop frightening people and making noise in the middle of the night. Talent is talent, but the rules are equal for all." Silence again. He doesn't even move. Louis thought, maybe it's a girl. Maybe he was the one who frightened the incognito. For some reason there was not a single light source in the apartment. How does he look at the keys? One question after another came up in his head, tormenting his brain, already swollen with desire to sleep. I was dumbfounded by what was happening to me. I couldn't decide what to do next. Maybe he was sick, Louis thought. Resolutely I stepped into the empty, uncomfortable apartment. For the first time in years he felt very frightened. A shadow appeared around the corner, illuminated by the faint light of my flashlight. Someone flashed through the doorway. Louis froze. There was silence. Not a sound. Something rumbled. "You wanted to see me?" Came a muffled voice behind him. Behind him stood him, in a large, distinctive cylinder, taller than Louis, and, more importantly, with empty eyes. No, not with black holes, but just no eyes. No eyes at all. He couldn't feel his legs from fear. The monster hissed, "I've been expecting guests," and drew a bow from behind his groin with a long, sharp blade attached to the back of it. "I'll teach you to play the violin." Behind his back a door opened with a creak, behind which he saw many elaborate instruments of musical-themed torture. There was also a couch. On it was his friend Pete, who had supposedly moved out a year ago. Lying there, breathless. Ah, that one. He's talentless. Hasn't mastered a single instrument. Is your friend restless or what? Why don't you say something, daredevil? He said. The thing knew Luis wouldn't say a word in 5 minutes, so it grabbed him by the neck, dropped him, and deftly tied him up. Threw me in the cage. He gave Luis a notebook and pen, and let him write down his thoughts about this monster for an hour a day. Luis was sure to the end that he would be found someday. This was written in the notebook of Louis, 25, who was found July 20th, with his throat cut in a completely empty apartment.
If you liked the story, please subscribe and like. Till tomorrow.